Alright, so we're going to be doing a different type of video today. I'm going to be doing two videos in one, and the main reason why is because I'm moving past doing reaction videos. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be doing reaction videos, but I want to move past it because one, I'm not getting recommended videos like how I used to. Main videos I'm being recommended is videos I already watch, or it's from the same channel I watch constantly. I don't really want to keep reacting to other people's videos like that. You know, it's cool and everything, giving my commentary and things of that nature. That's what you guys came here for, but I want to move past that, and I want to give you guys my own type of content, even though this is my content more or less. It's just commentary on videos, but I want to give you guys organic content from me personally. You guys are, you know what I mean, right? I hope you guys understand that. And my whole purpose of this channel is to edify, educate, and give people wisdom in the body of Christ and to the world. So I want to bring out that purpose. Even though I do it through these videos I react to, I want to give more purpose in that. So I'm going to be moving past these reaction videos, but I still will be doing reaction videos if they come upon me, okay? So this was a special request by Destiny. Shout out to Destiny. Love you, appreciate you for sending these to me. She wanted to hear my opinions on it, and she's actually the person that got me to watching whatever clips. So yeah, she sent me these videos mainly about Candace Owens, and she's talking to these women on here. And I'm pretty sure I saw a video on my recommended that she like made a video talk about her experience on the whatever panel or whatever. I didn't watch it, but this is, I'm guessing, like one of her segments with some of these women. And yeah, we're gonna see what this is about. I would show you guys the title of this video, but I'm just gonna say what it is because if I show it, I might get demonetized. I got monetized now. Woohoo, I get money. Cool. Anyway, this video is called Candace Owens versus Rated R Workers Debate on Marriage. If you don't know what Rated R means, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry, but probably will see it as I move my mouse. Like you guys, when you move the mouse, you see the title of the video on the left hand corner, so you probably will see it. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's get straight into the video. Shout out to Destiny. Love you. Thank you.
Earlier it was like talked about like how, you know, sleeping or letting your husband or wife sleep with someone else is like irresponsible, or it's not a marriage anymore. Like I'd be kind of curious of what you believe a responsible marriage is like. Or I understand that you have a religious view on marriage, but when I think about marriage, I think like I could see somebody saying they're married if it's like completely romantic, like you're not allowed to do romance with anyone else. Like basically, what does a responsible marriage mean to you?
Marriage is not just a contract. Like it wasn't just like the government came up with a contract for people to get married. You know, the history of marriage, you can't separate that from the church. The problem is people are trying to make things cool and trying to update and make them modern. And now people are saying you can have a polygamous marriage and you can bring in other people on the outside of your marriage. What's the point of getting married? Literally, I'd like to ask the question, if you think that you can, if you want to marry somebody and then outsource the responsibility, outsource what the labor of love is actually supposed to be about, why not just stay single?
So you wouldn't do a thing with your husband?
Absolutely not, because he's my husband.
Did you even have to ask that to get the
Well,
answer?
I mean, there's married
not.
couples that want to have
And you know
some
what
of
happens?
these ladies are bi-curious.
You should jump into those Reddit threads, because every single time that marriage ends in divorce, there's so many Reddit threads.
No,
about,
they don't.
And a lot of them
I have
actually
regulars
do really
of
well
over 5
too.
years.
Okay.
And
There's
they're
some that
not
do really
divorcing.
well. Do you believe
Well,
atheists can get married?
Okay, so one thing I noticed here was this already just shows this just points out all the women here, just based off of what this shirt says, made in hell, just points out everything on this panel. All these women on this panel. Well, I'm not gonna well, based off of what they wear, we could already tell what their character is, just based off of what they wear, except her, because I don't know if she's a debauchery. She's mainly covered up, but based on she's covered up too, but based on this shirt is crazy. Made in hell, really? Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That's really crazy. That's really crazy.
I think atheists get married because they want a tax break. I don't see the point in an atheist getting married. Why don't you just live with your partner, okay? Whoever it is that you're dating, you're at the stage you said, I don't know if you live with your boyfriend or whatever it is. Why take the next leap? If you're wearing crosses for fun and, you know,
I mean, if
like
you're actually asking
yeah,
the question,
yeah.
I mean, because then I would just be pledging the fact that I would want to be with them forever.
But you can just be with them forever. So what is it
Right,
that you
but-
crave that when you want to get married? What's that next step for you? What does it mean? What's the difference between dating and marriage?
Because it's a commitment.
Is dating not a commitment?
It's a commitment, but it's saying a
But
next
you're
step. It's
within-
solidifying it.
Okay, solidifying what? Because if
Solidifying
you're,
a bond between two people that love each other.
Okay, but what is solidified? If you can then jump into that next commitment, which is the exact same as dating, and you can sleep with other people and you can put topless photos on the internet, what are you getting married for? Pictures on Instagrams to say you did it?
I mean, I'm not sleeping with other people.
What's the
but
difference for you between dating and marriage?
I just told you, it's a bond between two people. You're solidifying that by law. You're literally making it known. I want to be with this person forever. It isn't just a simple breakup. Oh, I can go and do whatever I want and leave. It's a partnership. It's a bond. It's forever.
But there's no difference between dating and marriage
there is a
other than the
difference.
idea in your head that it's a bond, because you're saying also
But it's not an
that
idea in my head. It's on paper.
Oh, okay, it's the paper. That was the
But
point
it's
I was
not a
making.
but I'm
just
saying
a
it's
piece
not
of
a
paper.
tax break. It's a legal
And-
thing.
and I think
I'm
for people that are
connecting to
committed-
somebody for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, I think for people that think about marriage and don't think about a cross as something funsy to wear, it's not a piece of paper. You know, it is a union between a man and a woman, a sacred union that should be protected from external forces. Definitely not something that you open up. How I would feel disgusting if my husband ever came to me and said, I want you to sleep with another man or sleep with another woman so that I can fill my fetish. I mean, it's an utter perversion of what it means to be married, and it will lead to divorces. People that have this perspective will, and I'm not saying that if you don't do it, you won't get divorced 100%, but I do want to say that there is probably a reason that a lot of workers struggle to find people that want to marry them.
Well, can I say a lot
I
of the
disagree.
perversion that comes if you are not going to be acceptant with your partner, if he comes to you and is like, hey, I really like getting, I want you to me, and you're like, ew, that's so disgusting. Like, I would never do that. You want me to eat your, I would never do that. Well, then, okay, what are you going to do? Divorce him? Or what are you going to do? Realistically, I'm
Are you
asking
gonna
you
do it?
I'm asking, hold on, I really want to.
First off, if she married this person, right? Right off, okay, before you marry someone, right? You have to know what their character is. So from knowing someone the first time, right? Become friends with them, right? Catch feelings, whatever. Date them, boyfriend, girlfriend, right? And from that point on, you guys should know what y'all interests are in. I wouldn't say because if you guys know each other, it's like know each other's interests, like what y'all do in the bedroom, that means that leads to fornication, and that's sin. Sin is missing the mark. Sin leads you to hell. So that is kind of a very, very touchy conversation. But from what you know about the person, if their character is showing off like, oh, like a man wants to be like, you know, wants to receive, you know, stuff in him, and you guys know what I mean. I don't really want to go into detail here, bro, because it's just crazy. So basically what she said, wouldn't Candace know that her boyfriend likes that type of stuff? Like, wouldn't he say that or something like that? Like, wouldn't he give off traits of that? Because people that give off traits of that is kind of like, they have to be like homosexual or something, right? Like, they have to be. You get what I mean? Like, they have to, like, no, I don't think any actual man that's like is not like has any homosexual tendencies would like that. Honestly, I'm being honest. So I think if that's the case, then she would know that and she would not marry him. So I don't think what she's trying to say is kind of makes any sense, unless he, like, for example, they're married and then he starts becoming homosexual or something. He wants to do this stuff, which will be very odd. That would be very odd. And I'll just I'm not gonna lie, he probably has a demonic spirit if that's the case. But yeah, that's very odd, bro. That's a very odd question.
I want to know, what are you going to do? That's your husband. He's like, hey, babe.
I think one of the things about marriage that's really beautiful is I know what my husband, before we got married, I think I know who he is.
But things change, and maybe he wants to start exploring.
He wants to
Yeah.
start doing what?
He wants to start exploring, and he's like, oh my gosh, maybe I do want you to like eat my ass, and I kind of want you to me. Like,
but where would that come from? Like that, like it's just that just wouldn't just happen. Like, he would have to be exposed to some crazy stuff. He has to be watching, you know, pornography and stuff like that. He would have to be exposed to this stuff. Like, these stuff don't just happen unless you got demonically possessed. And even if you got demonically possessed, it was from somewhere. Like, that stuff doesn't just happen, bro. So again, her point doesn't really make any sense because it doesn't have any ground on it. It's not any value in there. Like, she's just coming up with a hypothetical random question that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know where she's going with this.
I kind of want from you because you're my wife and you're so beautiful and hot, and we're married and we have kids together, and I'm feeling a little bit kinky, and I with you, since we have this special marriage and bond. How would you feel if we could just try this out just this one time, babe, please?
I think it would probably indicate to me that my husband was involved in some perverse world, whether it was through pornography, that something else was happening on the side, because these aren't normal things that people just think of when they wake up.
So
like,
what's your next move?
really like
Right.
Well,
so what's your
also,
next move?
What's the ultimatum? He's
Wait,
going
hold
to
on.
divorce me if I
Wait.
don't.
What's your
It's
next
happening.
move?
crazy. I would think that that individual would probably need therapy and not the kind that you give.
Okay. And but you're gonna stay with
You
this
don't
person?
you don't immediately divorce.
Okay.
Marriage is
You're gonna
about
stay.
working through issues and working through problems. You
Okay,
don't immediately
right.
divorce them, and this gets back to what she was saying about if your
Because-
husband, if suddenly a woman doesn't want to have, which would be another huge issue in a relationship. I would hope that my husband wouldn't instantly divorce me, but I would hope that they
Well,
would
some
take
guys
the
are terrified of that, and some guys don't even feel like they can open up to their wives about that
Sounds
stuff.
like they need therapy.
They
then
need
if
therapy.
can't open up to
Yeah.
his
And
wife.
yeah, I know.
You gotta work on your marriage.
But the thing is that they'll come to us talking to us about that. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
And I think
don't
that
know, I
that's
think it's-
unhealthy. And I think that, the fact that workers exist as this, what you believe to be a solution, when in fact that's a detriment, because you're getting in the way of the wife and the husband being able to communicate. And so I would much rather my husband go if there was an issue and your wife.
Who is this girl in the back? Like, she's always in the back. She's always shaking her head, like, when anybody on her right side says anything that's valuable. Is she like a Christian or something? Who is she? Because she's always in the back. Sometimes she sits here. Who is she? I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comments. Destiny, tell me who this girl is. She's always in the back with this crazy. I don't know what type of hat this is. This looks like that thing from the Mario games with the top spike thing. That's what it kind of reminds me of, bro. That little creature thing, turtle thing. That's what it reminds me of. Who is this woman, bro? She's always in the back,
I'd
just
rather
listening.
him go talk to a priest. I'd rather him go talk to another male. When males sit down and talk about, hey man, you should talk to her about
Okay, but
this.
let's be
I'd
for
rather
real.
him.
What
No,
man
let
nowadays
me
is
finish
gonna
my
do that?
statement. I'd rather him. What do you mean, bros talking to each other about things? That's a normal. I'd
Especially
rather if I
about
have an
sex, I
issue
feel
in
like
my,
that's pretty
it's pretty
normal.
normal. I'd rather go talk to my sisters about things that are going on
No,
in
I
my
said
marriage.
what
There's a
man?
lot of steps you can take before you talk to a about your marriage. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I live in such a crazy.
well, I'm
place,
saying what
but
man is
I
willing
don't know.
to do
I
that?
turn on
Because
turn on a
apparently
Taylor
we
Swift
get a lot
song,
of those on
cry
this
a little
side,
bit in
is
my
what I'm saying.
room. I don't know. There's a lot. I would turn to
Wild
Taylor Swift
proposition.
before I would go to a prostitute about
Well,
my marriage.
I
and
know, but you're not a male, so
no,
I'm just saying, like,
men can talk to
where-
other. What are you talking about? There's all of these podcasts of men talking, talking to men and being inspirational and talking about addiction and talking about the things that are corrupting men's minds. That's out there.
Okay,
and
and I know
those
that.
are. I would much rather my husband listen to those men,
Right.
and look for guidance, whether it's in the church,
I
whether
hear
it's on a
you.
podcast, whether it's a spiritual leader, than to turn to a brothel.
I hear you.
So there's a lot of steps that you can take.
The question I have for this young lady right here, the lady in the orange, I think she's a worker or whatever. I'm trying to go to her. Let me just continue.
From we're having an issue in our marriage to my husband's at a brothel laying next to.
Okay, so I have a question for this lady right here, or anybody that agrees with what she's saying or whatever. So she's saying that rated R workers are a solution to, broken marriages and things of that nature, or if their wife doesn't want to, have a nice time on the bed one night or whatever, or just doesn't want, not in the mood to, have fun time in the bed, whatever. Like, okay, you say you're the solution, right? And you're perfect for them. What do you have to offer besides your body? Besides you giving them a quick fix, a quick night, one night stand, whatever, couple nights, whatever. What else do you have to offer? You're not gonna marry this man. You're not gonna be emotional support with this man. The only emotional support in this man is his pants. So, bars. So, again, what are you offering this man besides your body? Which is temporary gratification. So, again, what are you offering him? You're not offering a fix to his broken marriage. You're actually worsening his marriage by committing adultery, letting that man commit adultery. So again, what do you have to offer? I can understand if she was like saying, I mean, you can't be a rated R worker and help anybody because you're offering your body. But it would be different if she was like a psychologist, or like those marriage counselors or something like that. That would be perfect. You get what I mean? But you're not doing that. You're offering a quick fix, quick gratification, quick one night stand in the bedroom, and breaking his marriage even more. So, like I said, what are you offering?
about
Yeah, I
issues.
don't
in
think
marriage.
a
I
lot
think
of men
actually,
don't
let me
react.
just step in really quick. I do think though, I would like to redirect the conversation because I do think it's probably a very small portion of people who are married are seeking to bring in a for the husband. It just seems like such a small kind of, I don't know. What's up, really quick?
Statistically, married men are actually the highest number of clientele for.
And that's why I'm saying, please listen for me. I'm literally telling you guys, males come to us and say all this stuff, which is like they're first scared of you guys because how you might react. Two, they feel like they can't be honest and open with you guys. That's why they result in coming to places
Yeah,
like
just so
that.
you guys know, that statistic doesn't mean that the majority of married men go to.
I
You
didn't say that.
No, I know. I'm just letting her know because she said like yes, like it was if it was a debunk. And
No,
I think what
no,
he's
no,
saying
no,
is that the
no.
majority
Oh,
of married
nice,
men don't
yeah.
turn
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
to prostitutes.
a
So
lot,
there
we
might be a
get a lot
small
of married men is
contingent,
what
and
I'm
they might be
saying,
majority
right?
married.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
I think
get
that's a
everything.
good
Let-
reason to have, I guess, to on the point of like something was brought up earlier about like what is like a responsible marriage to you. So part of being a good partner as like a wife or girlfriend to whoever you're with is making them feel comfortable telling you anything, especially if it's something that they think is serious enough to consider leaving like their relationship with you for. Like if it's serious enough that they would consider divorcing you if they can't explore the sexual fantasy or anything like that. I think that's just a part of being good on the I agree with what you're saying here, that they that these men don't feel comfortable that they could tell their wives, and I guess that's just a part of being, not that it's justifiable that you as a wife you should give in to any fetish your partner brings to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with and wherever your boundaries are. But I guess that's a part of that continuous conversation with them, so that they always feel comfortable bringing up anything to you as a
Right.
friend, as like a
Right.
confidant, and knowing they're not going to be judged,
Right.
but that they'll be a partner with you and
I do
figuring out
have
how
to.
do
I
that.
do have to move on. So
Like I said, I think that whole what this woman said really just comes down to like who you marry. That's really it. Like you're marrying the wrong person. If you and your wife or you and your husband can't talk about anything, like if I have problems, y'all can't talk it out. Y'all wasn't meant to be. Seriously, y'all just not meant to be. Once somebody said that, and people think that is true, I think it's true to a certain extent. The best marriages are people that came from being best friends first and then going into marriage. And I think that's true because, you know, if you look at most relationships, they go off from being best friends, being cool, being cordial, and then, you know, working out from their ups and downs and then being married. Because once you have that relationship established, nothing can break you apart. No matter what argument y'all have, none of that. Y'all always going to stick by each other. Now, there is going to be nuances, but I think for the most part, once you establish a best friend relationship, yeah, go through your ups and downs, and once that's established, I don't think there's nothing that's going to break your bond, honestly. All right, this video is called Candace Owens Says Bofellation is Real. Just take the B out and put the H in there. HOE, you got the rest. Anyway, let's go.
Because at least from the things that I've read and that I've studied,
And I hope when they're talking about this, they're also talking about men being hoes too. Because that last video I did, the men in the comment section were absolutely yeah, they were really bad in that video. Watch my last video, you guys will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the last video I did, whoa, that was bad, bro. The amount of men that had no accountability was actually insane. Wow. But yeah, anyway, let's keep it going.
it seems like that is true, but in a very particular context, and that very particular context was like basically abstinence only education, which I don't know about you guys, but makes complete sense to me. Because if you tell teenagers like, don't do this thing is like super, you know, like don't do it, it feels super good but you're not supposed to do it or whatever, if you phrase it that way, then teenagers are going to go out and do it. Because like at least everything that I've seen recently has been talking about how if you talk about proper sex ed, and people who have more access to contraceptives as well as better sex ed tend to have like a lower body count than people who are like in like lower education, less sex ed, less access to contraception. So I was just wondering like your thoughts on that.
I'm telling you it's not true factually. In the 70s, before they got Planned Parenthood, went in the classroom and started funding initiatives, and they started teaching sex education. There used to not be sex education in school, and the way that they got it into the classroom in the 70s was by saying, you know, it's better to teach them, which is what you're saying, because then they'll be more responsible. It actually within 1 decade, it flipped. The majority of high schoolers were graduating with their virginity before there was sex education. And then when they put sex education in the classroom, the majority of them within 10 years were not graduating with their virginity. So it actually sexualized children.
Yeah. My understanding, but the reason why was because the first manifestations of sex education was abstinence only,
and it was working is what I'm saying to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was working. So abstinence, it used to be, you know, considered, and I'm not at all trying to, I'm just telling you what the facts are here. Like when abstinence was the cultural simulation, when everyone said you should be abstinent, you should not have sex before marriage, that idea was permeated throughout culture. It was reflected in culture. There were no sex ads. There weren't people naked on the internet, and people lived their lives. It was considered a big thing, you know, to lose your virginity. You were actually considered someone that maybe a guy wouldn't want to marry because you lost your virginity. That was the cultural understanding, like, you know, in the 50s and the 60s. And then in the 70s, you had this fourth wave of feminism that reared its ugly head and started associating sexual promiscuity to freedom, and things completely flipped. Again, I'm just giving you a historical analysis of what happened in the classroom.
Yeah, I'd
without
be interested.
Commentary.
Yeah,
Hold on.
it's okay if you. Sorry, I'll just finish.
Make
this?
it quick if you
Yeah,
can.
I'd be interested to see like where exactly you're getting that from. If like later you can tell me or whatever.
Thomas Sowell, Inside the Education System, and he has
Okay.
all of the sources listed in the back of the book.
Okay, because at least in modern day, do you think that any of that has flipped or no?
No, I think we've become, you know, there was, to use a term, I was actually talking about this.
No, it got worse. It got worse. I told you guys, I think in my last video or the video before that, the sexual aroma in school became absolutely terrible. Like, it evolved so bad. It was so like, when I was in elementary school, there was not any type of like talk about, like, obviously there was inappropriate kids, you know, perverted kids or whatever, but it wasn't to the rampant of when I went to middle school. When I went to middle school, it was really, really bad. It was really terrible. People were doing people were having fun in the staircase, bro. People, like, it was really bad. Like, it was really terrible. There would be like condoms on the staircase. Like, there were like, yo, it was really crazy. When we're talking about middle school, like, middle school people are typically like what, 13, 14 during that time. So imagine that. People are losing their virginity at 13, 14 years old. And I'm 21 now. That was not too long ago. Like, that's really crazy. It got worse, actually. It got actually really, really worse. Terrible, bro. Terrible. And with the sex education thing, I was mainly, that was taught, I think that was taught in like 7th grade with me. Everybody knew what everything was. And people was mad inappropriate. When a teacher was talking about, you know, how like women get pregnant and all this other stuff, and how you should like wait till marriage, people did not care about none of that, bro. People were just mad inappropriate, just saying mad debauchery stuff. It was sad, bro. Really sad, bro. The amount of people that was exposed to porn in that time, man, bro, man.
On a podcast, I thought it was pretty brilliant. Paul Joseph Watson, I love his YouTube stuff, and he started talking about hoflation, just like
That's a thing.
Actually hilarious, which he's saying that men used to have to do a lot less and get a very high value woman. He's like, so think about your grandparents and your grandmother. She was a high value woman. She raised the kids. She was conservative. She was beautiful. All of these things, and now we live in this moment where everyone's kind of a hoe, and you have to work harder to get a woman that doesn't have any self-respect or any value. And I just thought it was a really interesting video. It was obviously funny, but he was saying something, and we live in hoflation now, where everybody in their own capacity is selling their bodies. And unfortunately, these are the options that men have. No, I'm not saying, it's stunning to me that women talk about what men need to be and what men need to be, but I think just kind of the complete disintegration of, when I look at, you know, what my grandmother looked like in pictures. She passed in 2013, and seeing how beautiful and how much I wanted to be like her. And now I look at, you know, women today, and I just think, man, I feel bad for guys that, you know, that the pool is getting smaller, but also it's really positive for women that are conservative, and, you know, who it means that you're part of, you know, maybe a smaller pool of individuals. I see it a lot more in the South, and that men should aspire to pursue those women, absolutely, to raise their families and, you know, to raise their kids.
Do you co-sign on the hoflation
Oh yeah,
theory?
I believe. Yeah,
Oh.
the women today
Okay.
are very low value, and so it's funny because the simulation is like men ain't wait is kind of the thing everybody's saying. Don't need a man. And it's funny that someone brought up Beyonce because she's living the exact opposite of what she's singing. She's just making money because knows how to make money in a hoe-flationary environment. You know, smart woman. She's like, I'm just going to pretend to be a hoe, but then actually privately I'm going to be like super like.
Hold on. You wanted to come in, then you, please, if you can, try to keep it brief because I need to get to chat.
I was just going to say that my version of sex education, or my sex education was literally them showing us a birthing photo, or a video, sorry.
Yeah, in 4th grade.
That terrified me, and I was like, actually, I don't think I want to have sex for a long time. I think I'm good.
Showed a video? What is going on, bro?
Go ahead.
And like speaking of hoeflation, I mean, we're always trending apparently, right? Because
Who's we?
hoes. Because without us hoes, you wouldn't have like that many views to be watching, right? You have hoes come on the podcast to talk about our.
I'm not knocking hoes.
I don't want to be a hoe.
I'm saying,
I don't want to be a hoe.
I'm saying you have hoes, and when I say you have hoes coming onto the podcast, you know you're a hoe
Do
if
you
you're
mean
a
a
hoe.
literal hoe or like more of the colloquial?
That's Brian's dream.
You know what I mean?
You have hoes, Brian.
So you sit here and you want to bash sex workers, but you know we come
When
on
did
your
I
podcast.
Bash
When did I
anybody.
bash
I don't think
There was-
anybody
there
has
was
bashed.
very
He's
little
bringing you
bashing.
on here and giving you a platform to speak. So I think that if he was going to be bashing you, he wouldn't even allow
But
anybody
making
on.
us
The hero
making
of
us
hoes, if you
seem
will.
Wait, what do you mean making what?
making us seem like
I'm not making anybody seem any
you know,
sort of
like
No, I'm just talking
we're
about a video.
trending,
Oh, I'm-
we're a trending topic, so it's relevant to speak on.
Because it's interesting.
Wait, what?
It's
Yeah.
fascinating. I am
That's what I'm
fascinated by hoes. I'll say it. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way the hoe mind works, the way the hoe hive works. I'm fascinated.
Next
I cover it on
documentary.
my show. You
And
are
it is
correct. It is
trending. I'm saying,
trending.
and that's why
when
it's such a
Emma
hot
gets
topic
up
to
and does a
speak
video
about.
and says something like, you know, it's chic to be divorced before you're 30.
And it's not for the good reason. Like you're mainly talked about. You're the shine of the and again, if you are the shine of the world, is always a bad thing. Always a bad thing. Like if everybody is looking at you, and they're praising you for debauchery, it's always a bad thing. It's 9 times out of 10, 99%, it's always a bad thing. Always. So just because you're getting the attention and you know people are talking about you. Now I don't condone the bashing and all that other stuff. I don't. I think people should respectfully criticize you and try to make you be better. So I don't agree with the bashing part. But if you put yourself yourself out there and you're promoting debauchery and people call you out for it, then you don't call it bashing. Yeah, it's really sad. So like I said, if you are on the top front of the world and you're a trending topic, it's not a good thing. 9 times out of 10, it's never a good thing. So.
You know, in the same way that I think it's fascinating when anybody does anything crazy or says anything crazy, and I cover it on my podcast, you know, I am not knocking it at all. I just tell people what the facts are. You can choose this lifestyle, and here is where you are 99.9% likely to lead in your life, right? You are probably not destined for marriage. You're probably not destined for a stable relationship. Men are going to not want this long term. You can say it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 cultural examples, and women's still got to go out there and be hoes, you know, because they're about their money and about a Cardi B song or whatever it is. So yes, I think it is fascinating, and it is why I wanted to.
I just really want to know.
This is why
I just really want to know, what are they gonna do when Klaus Schwab hit the switch? When Klaus Schwab says you're gonna own nothing and be happy. Like I just want to know what they're gonna do. When Klaus Schwab says you're not gonna own no money, everything's gonna be digital. What are they gonna do? Like I just want to know. What man are they gonna run to? Like what? I just want to know what they're gonna do. The only thing they're gonna do is submit. That's it. They say they don't want to submit to a man and all this other stuff, but you're gonna submit to that world system. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do. I really feel sad for. I don't know if all of them are workers. I think obviously she is, because she was advocating for the workers or whatever. She was speaking kind of against it. I don't know what she's on. She's obviously for it, and I think she's obviously for it. That shirt is crazy. So yeah, I just really want to know. I just really want to know, because they're not rooted in truth. They're not rooted in Christ. They're not rooted in anything that has anything to do with the Bible. Their ruler is Satan. They want to be, you know, on top of the world and all that. You know, Satan is the ruler of this world. So I just really want to know, what are they gonna do? I just want to know. Like, somebody please tell me what they're gonna do.
Fascinating. And it is why I wanted to, you know, talk. This is why I talk about it on my podcast and why I'm very interested to talk to you guys. I hope you guys feel that I've been respectful in listening to, you know, your lifestyles, even though it's so different from mine. And so I appreciate Brian for hosting.
Well, thank you for coming, Candace. Let's see. I have a couple chats here, and then I have one more question, and then I think Candace will have to leave here in a moment. We have Yvonne. Oh, okay.
Modern Life Dating donated $199. Hey Candace. Thank you for being a voice of common sense and a good representation of being a decent woman in today's modern perverse time. What are your thoughts on the passport bro movement of men leaving America for better wives abroad?
Hey, John, thank you very much for the TTS.
I can see why.
Maybe a brief little snippet on this, if you
Yes. Yeah, I think that you can find higher quality women in other places. Like, I married an Englishman. I think America.
Are you a passport? Not a bro, but
passport
like
cis?
a passport cis.
Passport cis.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that America has really lowered the cultural standards for women more than any. You don't see this kind of, even the way women dress in America compared to England fascinates me. And so, you know, don't discount the South, because there are so many good women in the South in America. Come to Tennessee. They're wonderful.
I have heard something kind of interesting on this, is that you have a lot of men in the West, a lot of men in the U.S. going overseas to try to find perhaps a wife who's a bit more feminine, or, you know, whatever they're not finding here in the West. But you don't hear of men from other countries in droves coming to the U.S. to find a wife here.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it unless it's for like benefits, like just for money. But not a man from a different country is gonna come here to find a woman. They're just not gonna do it. Most people in other countries see America and they hate it. Like, it's actually insane. Like, people actually, like, we are actually like the clown of a country. Like, we're a clown of a country compared to other countries and what they value. Even though most other countries are not like Christian value, but America is just it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I wouldn't be surprised if the higher ups, like the rulers of, well, we already know who the ruler of this world is, Satan. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Joker. But yeah, if he looked like Joker, I wouldn't be surprised.
You don't really hear that. So, all right, we have Yvonne St. Simoness. Candace, I know you're listening to these women with a realization that this country is doomed. How will you help your son navigate the swamp before you right now? And if we can just try to be...
I moved to the South as soon as I got pregnant the first time. I moved where my values aligned, and my son will be just fine.
Perfect. We have Goodest...
All right, that seems to be it. Thank you, Destiny, for these videos. Very interesting. I really want to know, like I said, I really want to know who is this woman in the back. She's always in the back, just not talking, just listening, not just listening, and has a, I forgot that Koopa Link spike hat on her head type beat. And yeah, so she's always there. I don't know if that's his girl. I just want to know what she's doing there. Like, that's all I really want to know. Shout out to Destiny. Shout out to whatever clips. That's gonna be the last reaction type video I'm gonna do for a while. Well, I'm not gonna say a while, because if I get recommended something, or something like, you know, pops out or something, and I see it, I'm gonna react to it and give my commentary on it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, man, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you guys want me to react to anything specifically, put it in the comment section below. I'll try to get to it. If you haven't already, give your life to Jesus Christ, because he's the most important thing to your life right now. And if you want to know how to get saved, the video on how to get saved is in the description. I love each and every one of you. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. God bless.